Yeah. What's up? Sister, how old are you?
I'm 19 years old.
And you are interested in safe haven?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
19?
Yes.
So, what do you mean by junior? What's your perspective of junior?
As in for us who are who are young, not working, but we can tend to save the little that we get from our parents, maybe lunch money, and we don't eat, you skive, maybe that little.
Ni zile mafuti za ule auntie. Those 40 bobs. Auntie yako wapi? Auntie ule wa mom. Yeah, it's those 40 bobs.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, no. But okay, it's a yes and a no. Yes, in the sense that it's possible. Oh, Nani. So look, first of all, do you know what is safe haven?
No, but I know it's an investment platform.
Wow. Okay. Where you invest and then what do you get in return?
Maybe like personally houses. Like maybe as in when I invest right now, I'll be able to plan. I get that into my mind right now, and in the future I'll not sitaweza kutamak juu najua like nimejinyima sahi, and in the future I'll have something back in return because I want to give, and then it pays me back in the end.
Wow. Okay. So safe haven has two portfolios. Safe haven, first of all, I've not spoken much about it because I tried to put. Who was there when I was trying to put the church in groups? And then I had a lot of nonsense. And so I told her, break the groups until we first have the results needed. And then once we have the results needed, then people can understand. But Safe Haven has two modules. The first module is a monthly percent of 10% of the total investment. For example, let's say, and by the way, I don't even think banks are doing 18% per annum or something like that. I don't even know how much they are charging. But Safe Haven is basically, it's actually registered under cooperative society. It's an investment cooperative. So it's not something we are doing on the side. It's an investment hub where it's legal for us to come together and invest. But so one arm of Safe Haven deals with percentages, right? 10% per month. And the other arm of Safe Haven deals with real estate. So here is where you are not necessarily geared towards the monthly issue, but for you want a long-term investment. Because now from Safe Haven, the child of Safe Haven is called Safe City, where we want to build a project of approximately 1.4 billion worth of houses. I think maybe if we have some time, we'll show you, because you already have the plan, the floor plan. So you can see the kind of things we are looking at. We've already done that into the architecture, and you see what we are looking at. So Safe Haven is twofold. There is the 10% angle, and then there is the investment platform whereby we come together, we build, we sell, we build, we sell. So where would you prefer to be? So first of all, have you understood? Whatever you invest, let's say you invest $1 million, you'll be making 100,000. I mean, where do you make that? Every month. So it means in 10 months, we are offering people an opportunity to have 1 million. Yet, the bank is going to give you 18% per annum. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yes.
Young people, are you hearing?
Yes.
Or even older people. So we are coming on board and saying, instead of the banks giving you at 18% per annum, we'll give at 10% per month. It means that annum, you have already passed with 120%. it's not 18. You understand?
Yes.
But I'm equally happy with the fact that you are 19 and you're thinking like that. Many people don't even, older people in this church don't even know what is safe haven. They don't even want to know what is safe haven. So what I told her, I can't help you. Let me get results, number one. Number two, when you invest now in safe haven, you are looking at a 5-year period where you can, of course there are many things I can't say publicly now, but you're looking at a period of 5 years where you can probably reap big. You can probably reap big. We want to, it's a pool, we want to raise, and this one I've been sharing with my team, just this year alone, we want to, by the time it's November, we want to, at the closing of the year, we want to raise 1 billion. We want to create a pool of 1 billion. So, and from the pool of 1 billion, assuming all of it goes to the 10% module, it means we will be releasing every month 100 million. So you can imagine the job opportunities, and we're already working on that. It's just that for now I can't say, but already the pool has quite some millions. Yeah, so we've seen it. The ones that believed it, it's working for them. If you don't believe it, sit down, enjoy the air. At least you have AC, you know, to the glory of God. But you saw what 1.7 trillion, do you remember yesterday? You saw what makes 1.7 trillion. What makes 1.7 trillion? Auntie, huh?
16, 99,
16 bob, 99, 450, 20, 30 bob, you know, things like that. So you can imagine if all of us can come together, we can raise 1 billion. But because I did not want, it's a bit sensitive, and probably most of the churches are not necessarily given to that module. It's a bit sensitive. So to bring our generation to understand that within the church, we can come together and do something to benefit each and every one of us, it might be a bit difficult. So yes, you can invest in safe haven. You just need to have an ID. Yeah, if you don't have an ID, you can help, your parent can come with you, register on behalf of your parent, or your parent registers on your behalf, and then you choose the module. If it's the real estate angle, you give it 5 years. If it's the monthly angle, you give it 10% per month. So yes, it's possible. Would you like us to welcome you to Safe Haven?
Yes.
Okay. Welcome to Safe Haven.
Thank you. Bishop, I'm being told to ask you explain the side of real estate by some people.
So the real estate side works this way, right? We come together and we say we want a project of approximately 1.5 billion. And I hope you know what I'm saying. There are two options to it. You can either spectate, which means go kwa sideline and look, because it will happen, whether you like it or you don't like it. You know, there are Christians. One of the problems with Christianity is slowness. We are very slow. I went somewhere and I told someone to invest, and I have nothing against prayer. The person told me, let me pray about it. It sounds as if it's deep. A short while later, I told the person, I want to give you 1 million. The person sent me a bank account before the statement was over. I said, oh, you don't need to pray to receive, but you need to pray to give. Truly, the children of this world are wiser. So the aspect of the investment platform is where we come together, we bring investors on board, and instead of taking this money from banks and whatever, or rather we ourselves, we come together and say, we want 1.5 billion. So in order for us to bring 1.5 billion, if you put 15 people, it means you need 15 people to give what? 100 million. You need 150 people to give what? So the figure keeps dropping that way. So in the real estate angle, it's the more we give a platform for people to raise the money that we need to build the houses that we need, and then we sell amongst ourselves. So you end up owning a house if you are an investor, depending on how much you have invested. If you've invested maybe 50 million, we look at the value of that real estate that's worth that, then you now have 50 million worth of real estate. If it's 1 million, you have 1 million worth of real estate, which might be the road. You know, 1 million, we can give you part of the road that goes to people's houses, you know. So it depends on that. And then there are so many opportunities there. I mean, you can imagine a city of 300-500 houses. You are looking at garbage collection. It's ours. We are not giving anything away. And I pray to God it comes to pass in Jesus' name. Garbage collection, the company is ours. So we get like 5 lorries. They are ours. So you can imagine the jobs. And when I say garbage collection, you might think Nilo Monangadi, Dandora. It's, believe me, they will be so... You've seen the one for America, those kind of... the ones where the machine... Just know it will be advanced. If you talk about solar, I mean energy, we have our solar system. If you talk about water, we have our own water purification plant. You know, so it's going to be a within itself business. I call it all money in, like the money stays within the system. And it has to go around like 7-8 times before the money finally goes out. The money will only go out if we are not able to produce that product. That's when we'll do what you call what? Outsourcing. Is that making sense? All right. Have I answered you?
Yes. The very last question, Pastor. Sorry. The very last. How much will you allow us to...
Jillian, wait. This is how I want us to run it, because we have a million questions here. So if I allow that form of regulation, then it means that we are going to only answer 3 questions. However, because you're the first one, that's the last one, and we are going to be taking like a minute or 2 at most on every question, because we have many people. We may not have another opportunity to do this. Are we good? So, yes, shoot.
The last one. Okay, like, how much is the minimum?
Considering your age.
Yes.
And I'm not claiming that you're... I mean, there are many millionaires at your age, but I really like the fact that you're interested, and especially you're a lady. That's amazing. It's just a matter of time, little girl. You'll be very rich. Yeah, I see myself in you when you are speaking like that. I was the same 19 when I started having a mind that's open. So the minimum we are looking at is 100,000. But now we might have, the way I'm looking at it, Dennis, we might have like a package for Youth Alive, something to help Youth Alive. Just like I remember Wallap were meeting for our yearly AGM. And our funds were distributed. Yeah, and we made money. So I came here and I gave them an opportunity. Yeah, by there I've bought shares in Wallap. I have 20% equity. I control 20% of women's money in Wallap. I just want you to know that. So by the time next year you see me doing this on the seat, usiulize maswali mingi. Just no, don't ask too many questions. But the same thing I did for Wallap. I gave them an opportunity to come as a Wallap package. Remember that time I told them that if you come, within that time we'll open a door for you. Just make sure you pass through Wallap. Is that making sense? So we might have a package for Youth Alive. Okay. That if you pass through Youth Alive, we'll accept 10,000, we'll accept 20,000, and then you keep building the market. I think would have helped you that way.
All right. So like I said, let me explain a bit of English. Answering questions in Omnibus means that you will get, if you have 3 questions, you ask all of them once, they are all answered once, okay? Ndio maana kuna jina bus hapo. Elizabeth na City Hopper, all right? Are we good? So we have a very important question here that is directed to Bishop before we go to Hanifa, and then a question for Mom. How are you able, sir, to keep your pride in check even when you have become wealthy?
I don't know if I'm wealthy, but if you think so. So let me give you my life practicals, right? And mama yenyu wako hapa atawaambia. I found that the only way to, or rather, let me not say the only way, probably God has different modules, but what has worked for me is I don't do something for profit. And I'm not saying there's no profit within it, but how do I keep the pride in check? Pride comes before a fall. Pride is not what you picked along the way. Pride was what was in you that never had an opportunity to germinate. So it's not like you became rich, then you became proud. You have been proud. It's just that you have been silently proud. You don't have money. So when you finally got money, what was in you? And I tell young people, resources amplify who you are, not who you will be. So for me, what works for me is that I don't do anything with profit in mind per se. The core reason why I do something is service, not profit. And I know it sounds funny. I know someone is wondering how is that and pride coming in. The reason is this. When you finally get the results, they don't linger in your mind. Because you are not looking for those results per se. You are looking to serve. So whether in the process you make $1 million, you make $10 million, you make $1 billion, you keep going because what you are really looking for is service. And no one can ever serve and be proud. And so that's why you see me, when we finish the program, I serve you food. All that is service. Service has a way of keeping your pride in check. So don't do much of the things you do for profit. Do them for service. And then when you do things for service, it bends poverty. It keeps breaking poverty. Because you can't serve and be proud. Do you get what I'm saying? Service, in fact, breaks you. Service powers humility than pride.
All right, thank you, sir. A question for Mom, and then we go to Hanifa. So please equip Hanifa early with a microphone. So at 20 years old, Mom, as a Christian, is it good to be in a relationship? And if you are in one, should you quit? Or what should a good born-again Christian do at 20 years old?
Na ujikumbuke. Remember yourself on those days.
At 20 years, what kind of a relationship? Because relationships are vast.
Well, we assume it's a love relationship,
right?
Yeah.
So what kind of a relationship
We are assuming
is it?
from the texture of the question that it's a love relationship, a man, woman, lover relationship.
Tell us.
Who has asked that question? Is it Hanifa?
No. This is
someone.
not Hanifa.
So of all
It's
the
anonymous.
days, why would you ask me such a question when I'm seated next to someone who will dismantle?
Tell us,
my
Auntie.
answer?
Tell us.
Wow. For a girl, for a young woman, first of all, thank you so much for this opportunity. I'm equally blessed to be here, and Bishop, by the way, I'm really learning a lot through Youth Alive. And before even I answer that question, there's something that I would like to encourage you, my dear sisters and brothers. What you people have been feeding on here, it's something that we are listening and asking ourselves, if we receive this kind of knowledge, where would we be? Because this is a very balanced program, matters to do with resources, and I'm very happy that the first question that we have received, it has come first from investment becoming, in terms of resources, not making family. Because when you are asking about that question, I was asking, if these people, they were not given opportunity to be taught about resources and how it is vital and important to become resourceful, the first question that comes is the place of settlement. And you know, settlement can never be before resource mobilization or acquisition. And so thank you so much, Bishop. That is very encouraging. When you're talking about them and about money, let me confess this. When I was young, I'm not saying I'm old. When I was young, per se in those 20s years that you're saying, by the grace of God, because of my upbringing and the way I was exposed to hard life when I was a very young girl, I found myself working at a very young age. Actually, I remember I finished high school and then I went to work. The first job was actually at Nairobi Women's Hospital, the one that is in Adams. And you all know that it deals with cases of assault and all that. It was very traumatizing. And then from there, I would find myself working in NGOs, maybe in the corporate, in terms of, marketing and all that. Then I found myself in the hotel industry, which I quite loved so much, and it became my heartbeat. And there's something that really opened for me. I was very young. I didn't know about anything about resources. So in hotel industry, I received a lot of money. because I was booking in NGOs, corporate and all that, my area of field was, I was taught to be head of housekeeper. I was trained. I never studied hospitality and hotel management. I never did that. But I found a boss that saw the interest that I had. I was very willing. And so he decided to teach me amongst the rest of the people that we were with. And then from there, I was advanced up to general manager of a almost 4-star hotel. And this hotel was bringing in a lot of money because most of our businesses, they were workshops. And you find that maybe in a week can bring in a business worth 10 million. You're talking about this, whatever, these big NGOs bringing business. Now, what was happening, Bishop, I had my salary, and then there was an agreement that I had with the CEO that if I bring in business, it's something that he had given each and every one of us. You're going to get 8% of the business that you've brought. Then the person from the institution or the corporate that they are bringing business, when you negotiate with them well, you will give them 18%. Now, this is what I used to do. I would negotiate for my part. Yes, I'll get 8%. But now, the person that is bringing business, let's say we're talking about World Vision or maybe Plan International, I will check the contact person. You're bringing a group to our hotel. This is the budget. Let's say maybe it's 8 million in a week. So when you bring me this business, 18% will be yours. But I would still go and negotiate with this person. Because I'm giving you 18%, I would like you to give me 4%. So I have 8% from the CEO and 4%, and my salary is not touched. So you find that I would find myself, maybe per week, I have like almost 300,000. Now, listen. And I'm very young, and I didn't know anything about...
Na ukakubali ningangane.
So, and I was like, you know, the way you see the money coming, but you don't know what to do with it.
Me, I knew. Why didn't you ask?
We had not met. The Lord has not shown. I wish I had seen you in the spirit.
No wonder.
Your time, but now I would receive a lot of money, Bishop. My salary, I was not even touching it. So I would find myself, maybe, you know, like, of course, you have burden for your family. You help, you know, with the bills, school fees, and all that. And then you receive a lot of costs. You help your extended families in the village. Someone is sick. Someone mtoto wanania kuenda shule. So that is how I would disperse my money. I was not that kind of a waster spending on self. I've never been that kind of a person that really spend a lot of money on myself. But when it comes to giving, I would just dash. So I remember that time where the hotel was, there were some properties that they would sell them at, I think it was 150 or 180 commercial properties, Bishop. And I would see people, those people, in fact, they would come and do workshop. I would organize a workshop in the hotel for them to sell properties and to speak about properties and giving away titles and all that. And I never saw the need of buying. Right now, the same place, a commercial property is almost going for 8 million. I never saw the need of buying property. Why would I buy property? To do what? I didn't have that knowledge. But now, because of this information, we are seeing a young girl thinking about what? Investment. Now, back to the question. This is what I would answer. That young, beautiful. It's a girl, right?
It's anonymous, but...
Anonymous. So if you're a girl or whoever you are, I believe that is I would encourage that relationship. Bishop has been teaching. If you listen or keenly, follow up on his teachings when it's come to the place of settlement, because the relationship is settlement. First of all, you need to understand this relationship, where is it leading me to? He has been discouraging about this thing of dating and being in a relationship and all that, because I believe if you have reached to a place of settlement, the relation is supposed to lead you into settlement. So now you are very young. I do not I do not support this thing of young people dating. I am sorry to say, you can have friends, acquaintances, and all that. Because what it does, it brings disbalance. First, do you even know yourself? Because this is the age where most of the young people, and I'm sure each and every one of you here, in as much as you're taking that course, maybe you're doing agribiz or whatever you're doing in school, maybe IT and all that, I'm sure there are many people here with a lot of other divided attention. You're finishing this course, going to another, because it is an age of discovery. Relationship is a permanent thing, and you don't want to bring it in your age of discovery. So number one thing, discover yourself first. After all that you have been consumed here about becoming, focus on that. focus on that. That is a very young age. I know that people say that, where is it written? And you know that is how they argue in the Bible. Where is it written that you're supposed to marry at this kind of an age? I am following what our teacher has been teaching us. If it is a man, the right age to settle is what? Is 30. And of course, he keeps on telling us, why are you in that relationship? Because it's supposed to lead you somewhere. If that person that you're having a relationship with, they tell you, I want to marry you now. What kind of a base of a marriage? Because that is an age whereby people are finding themselves. You find yourself that you went to school, you did whatever, economy, and then all of a sudden, apana, I was called for beauty. So at the age of discovery, don't engage in any form of relationships that are leading to settlement, because it will become a struggle. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Mami. All right, Hanifa Ali.
God is good.
All the time. Please remove your mask. Thank you.
So I had two little questions. The first one, how can one be sure that they are not speaking demonic tongues? I'm asking this because there was a time you were ministering and you said you were in a certain conference and there was a lady who was speaking tongues, and in those tongues she was it cursing you or something? And also, I have been raised in an environment where, like the place where I used to fellowship, the man of God kept saying that we should not be speaking in tongues because you might be cursing people and you're not aware. So how can one know that they're not speaking demonic tongues? And the second question, I'm sorry if it will sound as if I am doubting God or anything, but can God really ask someone to use their resources up to that point when wako so broke? Let me give this example. I have a friend, like she could use all her money on other people to that point yenye amesota mpaka anaanza kukopa pesa kutoka kwa wafanyikazi wake in the name of God has told me to do ABCD. So my perspective ilikuwa, is it that she is confusing huruma or rather generosity with God told me so? So how can one know that they are, au tu wanahurumia tu watu, wanatumia tu pesa vibaya and then wanajitetea na Mungu aliniambia ABCD. Yeah, thank you.
First Corinthians 14. First Corinthians 14. Be very careful of people that attempt to answer the Bible without the Bible. Do you understand? You see, there is something I don't do in my life. She can tell you, even at home, I don't give opinions. I don't give opinions. We can be in a conversation and we're trying to look for peace in the matter, and I have no opinion. And if she would bring an opinion, I tell her, that's not the Bible. We follow the Bible. And so the only way to answer scriptural questions is by scriptural answers. Can you read there kindly? If I pray in a tongue, my spirit prays, but my understanding is unfruitful. Do you understand that? It did not say I pray in tongues. It says a tongue. Kiswahili is a tongue. English is a tongue. Tongues are a tongue. So we will get there. Go to the next verse. So what is the conclusion then? I will pray with the Spirit. And notice, he did not say if I pray. Okay, go to the previous. Notice there it says I will pray with the Spirit. Do you people understand? Okay, now go back to verse 14. If I pray in a tongue, my spirit prays. So there is the language of the Spirit. And if you pray that language, you pray in the Spirit, but with your spirit. So it's God is spirit, and they that worship him must worship him in what? In spirit. I want you to follow that. Go to verse 15. What is the conclusion then? I will pray with the Spirit, not in the Spirit, but with the Spirit. And number 2, I will also pray with understanding. This means I will sing with the Spirit and I will sing with the understanding. So what does that mean? I want to get what I'm saying. So then I use a language that I can bear. Do you understand? For example, if right now I tell you start praying and then you just say, Ramasa. No. Sometimes don't pray in tongues because you need to understand what you are saying. So you cannot just be fluently only praying in tongues because the goal is to understand. Paul brought a balance. He says in order for you to pray, 2 levels must be involved, with the Spirit, and number 2, with understanding. So in this particular perspective, the understanding is the part where you can tell you are praying for your daughter. You can tell, Father, thank you for Asa. Thank you for her life. Blessed be your holy name. I ask you to show her your mercies. Paratos, kofra, askafra, ed. You see? So there is the understanding where you can tell what you are praying. And then there is the part where the Spirit carries you. Why have I said that? She asked, how will you know you are not praying demonic? Huh? How will you know you are not praying? When you pray with the Spirit, remember, the Bible says, for we do not even know what we ought to pray for, but the Spirit gives us what? Utterance. So there is no way you can pray with the Spirit and have demonic utterance. Notice, the Spirit. And this is why we should not teach prayer as something you just do if you want. Of course, there is the capacity of your will that should pray. But prayer too itself is a slave of the Spirit of God. Have you understood what I'm saying? I don't know if they should have put that scripture I've just said. But it's important for you to understand. There is no way you can say that my prayers are demonic if I'm in the Spirit. The security of your prayers is the Spirit. Do you understand what I'm saying? Just like the security of your money is the bank. So unless they can break the bank, they cannot break your account. So many of us, when we go to pray, we treat prayer as something that stands on its own. And it doesn't have the backup. It's not within a chamber of the Spirit. So we treat prayer as something on its own. And then the Holy Spirit. Look there. Likewise, the Spirit also helps us in our weakness, for we do not know what we should pray for as we ought to. But what does the Spirit do? The Spirit Himself makes intercession. So that's how you know that you are not praying. The Spirit, He is the one praying through you. And the Spirit cannot pray demonic prayers. But the minute you are just teaching prayer as something you just do by yourself, then you are putting prayer as an energy separate from God. So the only way to do that is to pray with the Spirit. To allow the Spirit of God to give you utterances. Then that becomes the security of your message. Have I answered you?
All right, thank you very much. Before we take one more question from Clement, there's a question here. This goes directly to Mom. I would love to ask a question. I have a passion for kids since my childhood, but I have nothing to offer them. Mostly street children, but I don't know how to start. I am asking for your wisdom. Please help.
So that is Ministry of Compassion. All right. First of all, I would like to say that everyone on this earth has something to give. Even if you don't have money, you have something to give. And I believe that giving is not just about buying the clothes or the food to take to the children, even spending time with them. So for the person that is asking that question, we have a lot of children homes that's actually they're scattered all over Kenya. And one of the things that you can start pursuing what you're feeling, because that is a ministry that is calling you out, like the ministry of Tabitha and Dorcas. Tabitha, the Dorcas woman in the Bible, you all know about her story, right? She was a very compassionate woman that was helping the widows, and what she could do, she was not even giving them money. She used her skill, which was to knit. She would make them up with sweaters, something warm for their children, and then she would distribute it to them. So you can use your skill that the Lord has given you. The second thing, you can go and visit the children homes. They are very receptive. Most of those children, they just want someone to embrace them, to talk with them and all that. The other thing, you can start with the little as you have. When we were in Nairobi, and I believe that Bishop has mentioned this many times, at Central Park, that is the time that it was a season also of our wilderness. And there is no one time that we never did the Love Basket Foundation because we didn't have resources. Not like we had money. We would go in Kangemi. You hear him mentioning that, and maybe when you go to our website, you can see us giving bananas and all that. We'd find even if it's 1,000 bob, and 1,000 bob will go to Kangemi, we'll buy bananas. Then with those bananas, we'll go with them to Central Park, distribute them, and still communicate to Jesus Christ. So there is nothing as little or you not having, because what you think that you don't have is time. And time is something that you have been given, and time is money. So you spending your time with these children, already that is a way of giving. And from there, I know that God will always, open up the doors to do more. So what do you have in your hands? What you have in your hands is time, which at this time is interpreted as a resource. You can use that time, go visit the children, mentor them, maybe even wash for them clothes. Sometimes you can go there in the children's home, wash clothes, stay with them, clean where they are staying, and that one is fulfilling. So with that one, you will not notice, I don't have. Because most of us, what stops us is to say that we don't have. Just like what we were told, we don't invest because we say that we don't have. The thing is, we have. So take that step of using the time that God has given you, because that one is also a resource.
Wow, that's good. We all have something to give, eh? All right, Clement, do you have a microphone? Okay.
Okay, praise King Jesus. Okay, so my question, we go back to Safe Haven. So you said, I heard you say that 18% per annum. How do you do that? And the banks themselves can't attain to that level. I understand it's by trading, but do you physically trade? Is an AI involved? And my second question, I go back to Mom. How do you know when you're giving at a point of compulsion to the point that you do not have yourself? Like you give everything you get. Is that wisdom? Yeah. It happens. But then there is a time you get money and everyone from your family calls you. Hey, Mario. Serious. Your sister is sick. You don't know. But there is a spirit that knows each time you get money in your account. So that's my two questions.
Let me help my wife answer both, but she will also answer. I just want to give her a better ground to find an answer. And this mistake is done by many people. So let me start by the last question, which is how do you know what to give? Like, do you give everything? Not true. Do you remember actually yesterday I taught you about Joseph? When finally Joseph had banked the grain, did you see the statement the Bible says, and he was selling? He sold, he didn't give. Joseph sold. And it is coming from one scripture. The Bible says, when it comes to the seed, anything to do with generation, or rather anything to do with growth, patterns of growth, God will not give an eater. The Bible says he gives seed to the sower. So first of all, before he even attempts to give you seed, it's not the seed that he looks at. It's the capacity to sow. And then, in case you are not in that sowing platform, he takes it to the second platform. Likewise, okay. He gives seed to the sower, but when it comes to the bread, he gives to the eater. So when the seed becomes bread, it should be eaten. But never eat your seed. You must identify, this is my seed. The Bible says, now may he who supplies seed, and notice seeds is supplied, but only to the sower. And this is why, by the way, many Christians rarely get here. Because we treat seed like what? Bread. And I'm not claiming the seed you religiously think. Like you take your $5,000 seed and bring it. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not talking about you sowing in terms of bringing it to church. I'm talking about you sowing in terms of understanding the law of seed time and harvest. That as a farmer takes a maize seed and he does not give you, even though the child is hungry, the farmer understands that the purpose of this seed is to bring a maize cob. And if you eat a maize seed, what have you really eaten? A maize cob. So in as much as you're in trouble, the farmer will never give you the seed. That's how God operates. There are things about God that must be sown, and he will never give you until you can sow. There are ideas he will never give you. If there is a person, like if you know what we're intending to control financially, there is a company called BlackRock in the US. BlackRock does not own for itself. BlackRock invests on behalf of others. It behaves, for lack of a better word, something like a hedge fund, for lack of a better word, in terms of investment. So BlackRock does not own. But today I was reading, BlackRock controls 12 trillion US dollars. And it's just people, do you understand? But now, in order for you to get there, there are things God will not trust you because you're a Christian. God would allow BlackRock to own them because they know what to sow. And if you sow what you're supposed to sow, you will have what you need to give. And that's why for me, I don't play around with that. And don't think I don't come from a family. I come from a family of people that think that because God has blessed me, God has blessed us. That's a wicked that's a weird way of thinking. And I'm not saying, because the same Bible says that a man that doesn't provide for his relatives is worse than an infidel. But notice it's providing. You can't be telling me I want to go out. Now it's my business. You know, sometimes you have funny brothers. He wants to take his wife out. And so he's seeking my help. Then when you ask the person, this place, do you even know how to hold the cutlery? I don't know if you understand. Who here has ever gone to a place? The place itself is telling you you don't belong here. You know what I'm saying? You know very well. You look at unakatum shamba. Because you yourself, you know you have not grown to it. I took someone, let me not say much, into an aeroplane a while back. So the time came to it. We needed to help the person, to teach the person, this cutlery is for eating. The guy decided to put it on the side and then he thinks it's being real. It's being foolish. Ati cheki mimi niko real. Mungu amenipea miko. So you think you are real because you're saying God has given me hands. You are foolish. Levels will reject you if you don't know what to do with them. And I've seen it personally in my life. And so you need to understand that when it's a seed, don't give it. You're not responsible for life. And by the way, let me tell you, most of the time the person that tells you, if you don't give me, I'll kill myself, the next time, tell him to kill himself. Because what they are doing, they are stopping you from going forward. Satan is after you. He's not after him. And I keep telling people, like now, myself personally, if I don't become what God has called me to be, who will carry my family? So I have to become what God has called me to be. And God will never give seed to the eater. Never. So you must know what portion of your life is seed and what portion of your life is bread. And when it comes to share the bread. When the seed has become bread, share as much as you can. And maybe I need to add this. Let's say you have gone to you have taken a loan. True? True? And I keep hearing this question, and it has brought me trouble. You take a loan of maybe 10 million from the bank. Okay? You come and tithe 1 million. Are you understanding?
Yes, sir.
Then what are you left with? 9 million. It's wrong. You don't tithe seed. If you have taken money for loan to do a business, you establish the business. And the Bible says 10% of your increase as the business increased. So how do you tithe? How do you tithe? I don't know if you're understanding. How do you tithe
Debt.
debt? So you must understand what portion. Has my seed become bread? Because before it's bread, it begins as seed. Have I made myself clear? So never give your seed, even if it's blood. Keep your seed, because tomorrow, if you yourself, you're in the same mess, no one can help the other. Second question is about safe haven, right? You asked, first of all, I don't do any of what you're saying. You see, when you talk about money market fund, it's money market. The one thing you have said, that's one arm of money market. Trading is not the whole concept of money market. And there is nothing wrong with it, by the way. Can I tell you what is trading to help answer the people online and those of you here that demonize things? Can I tell you what is trading? Where is the young man that has $100? Amenda home. Hiya. Do you still have it? On your pocket? I knew. You always hear chakwa dom. You can't leave that money in the dome. Which dome? What a kuosha. Come. Did you? Can you, where is Paula? Okay, Dennis, go to my office, kwa drawer, you see an envelope. I think it has some little Kenya shillings. Very little. A white envelope. Very little shillings. You can stop there. It's okay. I just need to explain. Oh, you taifika. Wadu kwa hapo. So I need to explain. Sorry. No, it's 14 years. Why are you carrying it? The streets are not safe. They will do you bad, right? And you're in charge. Don't worry about the streets. You know, between here and the dorm where you are sleeping, it's a street. So anything can happen. Yeah, so you are wise. It's been in your pocket.
Yes.
You even, when you sleep, you watch and say, oh my God, dollar. Have you ever held a dollar before?
No.
Wow. So just imagine at 14 years what you are doing to his mind.
Yeah.
You are showing him
Possibilities.
possibility. It's not impossible. It's just impossible to you. So I want to show you this so that you understand and answer this issue of trading once and for all. And to explain the difference so you see the lining of gambling and such kind of things. Let them bring just a minute. Bear with me. Okay. Am I allowed to stand depending on where your cameras are? Okay. So, don't overlook. Just look. This big one is... So, you've gone to the bank, okay? Not here. I'm giving an example. You are at the bank. Are you hearing me? How much do you have?
$100.
You have $100. Even his change. Jana alikuwa sema $100. Now $100. Have you noticed it's even more quiet? Yeah. If you get it? So now he has $100, right? But he wants Kenya shillings. Are you hearing me? So you go to a bank or you go to a teller or an exchange what you call the bureau. Then you give your $100. Okay? The value of this is probably 130 or 129, right? So I need to give him 12,900. Are you understanding? So I start counting. Watu watakunyonga. Be very careful, my brother. These people will do you bad. The streets are not safe. So I'm just giving an example. So let's assume, okay, the money is there, but let's just assume this is it. I'll give it back to you. Let's assume. So what have we traded? We have traded currency. Is it demonic? What did you want?
Shilling.
What did I want? So that's what you call trading. Now, this instead of doing it physically, what they did, because Kitambo, there used to be something called Nairobi Stock Exchange. Maybe some of you are younger, you might not even know that. They used to wear these red coats, and they used to go to town. And then they used to have a lot of computers. Are you understanding? Then they would now check. Are you hearing me? They would do the stocks, the trading for you. But now what trading means is that instead of going there, because now the bank has traded with you, it's the same thing. This now has been put into a system. So you have $100, you trade it. Just like now you'd go Kenya, maybe at some point, do you remember it was 160 something? Then now it's at 129. That's all trading is. Have you understood it in your mind? It's currencies. I have a currency, you have a currency. We are trading what? Currencies. Do you hear what I'm saying? It's not different from gambling. Manchester will win, Manchester will win, Manchester will win. You already know that the Great British Pound is this. Actually, now it's selling at 165.8. It's very good. I just did an exchange now. And then the dollar is selling at 128.5 or 129. Are you hearing me? So because the one that is 168.5 is stronger, and me, I want dollar, I have an upper hand than you that has the dollar. So when I trade with you, I will buy your dollar cheaper than my GBP, Great British Pound. But if you want the pound, you will spend more. Do you understand? And that's why there are people, the only business they do is they buy dollars and hold. Are you understanding? Hold. So that's what you call trading. To hold the thing until it can become profit. That's what you call trading. You hold the currency until it becomes profitable. Let's talk about coins. You hold, let's say you've bought a Bitcoin. You bought it 2009, we saw, or 2010, at how much? $1. Then you had the ability to hold it for 15 years. Then it has become 78,000. Then now you release it to the market. You have traded Bitcoin for money. That's what you call trading. Totally different from gambling. And this is why many people that do trading with the mind of gambling, they are gamblers, they are not traders. A real trader studies currency. Doesn't hope for fluctuation. You study the currency. So many of you just take things, you start trading, you don't know currencies, you don't know the currency, how did the GBP behave this time last week, this time last year, you just enter. Of course you are a gambler, you're not into trading. So this is what trading entails. Have you understood? It's currencies, stocks. You get what I'm saying? All you are doing is to hold it long enough to make profit. Have you seen the difference with trading and gambling? Have you seen it? It requires a skill, but it's possible for you to be a gambler that has gone into trading. And meanwhile, if you can't, study it. Study currencies. Because now you no longer need to go to Nairobi Stock Exchange. You can get the application on your phone. Study. Take a demo account. Go to people that know. Study. Don't be emotional and start taking money for your education. You study the currency. How has it behaved last year? How has it behaved January? You study the currency. What happens when there are issues? Like now, in 1 hour, when Trump came last week, people don't even know because people just think Trump is a president. There are people that don't see Trump's presidency. They see Trump's as a point of resources. And many Africans don't even know. Last week he spoke something and the whole, the US, it went down 2 trillion in 1 hour. Just because a man spoke something. So there are many people that lost just because he spoke something, because they don't understand the value chain. They are just gamblers. They just enter into gambling. Wanaeka pesa, alafu they put margins that are high, 1,000%, and then they are there because they don't understand how currencies work. So now, he has 2 currencies in his hand. Do you understand? He now wants GBP. No, just leave it. Let me just use the Kenyan. He wants, let's say this is a Great British pound. He wants a pound. Do you get what I'm saying? He wants some pounds. So what will he do? He will bring the Kenya and he will bring the dollar in exchange for it's just currency. If you can, study it. Study trading, studying. Stop telling people, oh, you know. And it's hard for you to hear these things coming from the church. And that's why I'm writing the book called The Cycle of, do you remember I told you? The Cycle of Wealth. For you to understand, I was studying it from John Rockefeller. Wealth in John Rockefeller's time was oil. It completed a circuit. Can I show you the circuit? I'm so sorry. Just give me time to answer because our problem is money. Hebu nipatie ni board, wewe vijana mwenye mko hapa. No. Sit down. Just don't worry. I can't call you vijana. Mtu ako na watoto wawili. Boys, bring it here. Up here. Thank you. You can carry separately. And I want you to understand this thing because me, I'm passionate about resources. The church has mastered a lot until resources are involved. And then we demonize resources. I don't understand why. And believe me, it takes a lot for me to preach like this. Trust me. I know I'm like I'm not saying I'm the only one, but it's hard to find preachers that are open to this. They want people to learn. All right. Now look here. The reason I'm teaching you the cycle of money, and you see why I had to help her to answer, so that I broaden the answer, then she brings her perspective. Now look here. The book I'm writing is called The Cycle of Wealth. Now look here. I studied it. Let's say in the year 1800. This is where wealth began. Are you understanding? Oh yeah, you can sit from there. Please zoom in. Zoom in. You don't need to show us. Yeah. The cycle of money. So why I'm writing this book, The Cycle of Money, you need to understand it. If this is where wealth began, everything has a starting point. Are you hearing me? Only God does not start. God is the one through whom everything began. God is the beginning. God does not start. God did not start being God. Everything apart from that has a beginning point. And if you can track it, people, listen to me. Please listen when I'm talking about money. You will suffer when you leave these places. Mutanyonga watu na madegree. I guarantee you if you don't listen. You'll only have stupid papers in your houses without anything to show. Because that's how they have programmed us. This is the beginning of wealth in the year 1800. Let's call this 1800. The year 1800. For example. So what it will do, it will go round 1810, 1815. I don't know until where, but I think you understand. And then it must complete. Are you getting it? The cycle must complete. So it means within these years you are seeing this way. All these years. To attempt to do something different is at your own risk. How do I tell you? Are you understanding? It's at your own risk. Let's say the wealth system here is oil. So you are safer when you don't do quails. You study the cycle of wealth. Stop trying to be deep and to be new. Study the cycle. And that's what my wife answered. I don't know which sister here. You don't need to have your own children's home. You can literally visit someone somewhere. Sorry, me, I can only answer questions. I don't know how to answer questions because for me, it's not a game. Lives are involved. It's not a game. Hata hizi maswali msiniulize tena. Because I don't know how to answer a question in a minute. This is not a game. You can't answer this in a minute. So if this cycle, the wealth here is oil, focus on the wealth. Focus on oil. Are you understanding? But you must be able to track when wealth is no longer as relevant as it was. It's not that it will not give you profit, but it's not really what people are into. Are you seeing what I'm saying? Then a new cycle will begin. Then the cycle will start again. It will create its own path, create its own path, create its own path. 1920, 1930, 1940. Here, you will notice that it will be banks. So everyone you notice here, people started banks. But at this particular place, if you do banks here, you'll be losing because it's not a wise investment. Have you read the law of demand and supply? Do not supply if you have not studied demand. For example, I've studied the demand of water. If you want to be rich, dig a borehole in Nakuru. Specifically, Nakuru. If you want to be rich, dig a borehole in Nakuru. And if you are watching us and you're in Nakuru and you have land, call us. I will bring the investment of the borehole. So let's own together. You see how you think? Will you bring the land? I'll bring the borehole machine. I'll dig the borehole. If you want, one of the things, because I'm studying how it's working. Territories tell you capacity and businesses. There are businesses, if you do in Moranga, it will not grow. And so young people, or rather, the church has not been taught how to study the cycle. Sio kuamka tu quail. This cycle does not support quail. So even though quail will work for 2 days, it will collapse. That's what we call now a pyramid scheme, or rather a Ponzi scheme. It is not in that season. So nothing supports it. And this is what I call the cycle of wealth. You must study the cycle. You must study where did it begin? Where is it going? At this particular point, where are we? Now you go, another one will start. So the easiest way in this season is to follow what is. You follow it. You follow it. So you might be 1820, 1920, 1924, 1950. You follow the cycle. And you will know because the atmosphere itself will tell you. Like right now, you will be so ignorant to ignore coins. You and ignorance are brothers. To ignore coins, at ukeapo shule, journalist, and you just ignore coins. What is happening in the Bitcoin system, just the coin world, and you're just ignorant. Because now, a new realm has come. So wealth now, the cycle has changed because it must complete. Are you seeing this place? Are you noticing this is constant? Because anything that begins must come to an end. If you are born, you must die. Are you understanding? You must study the beginning of a thing and the end. And you can be Elijah. Either way, you leave this world. That's what I mean. Now, you come to our generation. I've noticed it. Now, from around 2010, a new season broke. And I've checked it. Wasayon, it's decade. Every decade, something must happen. Even to your own marriage. There is a cycle of 10 years. I've seen it. And I've studied it as long as I can think. Every decade, something changes. In every sphere. Now, from 2010, something began. And it's called coins. Now, it might be 2011, 2012, 2013, 2015, 2018, 2020, 2023. We are now here, 2025. This is still not here. So don't come here. But don't start opening a bank here. If you look, the coins are facing out banks. Coins means the same money you have in your bank, you will now be a walking bank by yourself. Do you understand? You can walk with your money. So there is no need of coming back here and focusing on oil. And then you study your nation, like Kenya, there is no much oil. It's not like Nigeria. You have to study the ground, what is happening. It's not that you cannot gain by banking, and it's not that you cannot gain by oil, but be ready to put in more, because the axe is blunt and it can rarely cut. Now what can cut is coin. It can cut poverty. So there is no need of doing these other things. And in order for you to have a coin, you only need little, and you must again have knowledge. Don't just enter and buy things. You study the coin. How has this coin been 4 years ago? If it grew, what did it grow to? What are people saying about it? What banks are believing in it? Where is the country heading? Where is the world going? You now move with that. A time will come, 2028, 2032, 2040, I don't know, 2050, 2070, 2080. It will complete. Then now something else will begin. Are you seeing what I'm saying? So you have to study this cycle. And so many people come to me and they're like, Bishop, I want to start a business. Give me 1 million. I just know you are a failure. You are going to fail. You know there is where is that young guy from 4 gentlemen? Where are you? What train? Magneto? Where is the guy? You know why I was interested on him yesterday? Because that's where the world is going. So his idea is not here. His idea is somewhere here. Because where we are going, people want to connect. Countries want to interconnect. So you can never go wrong with what is in the future. Don't do businesses that are in the past. There is a company called Kodak. Who knows Kodak? Well, Gen Z. Who knows anything called Kodak? Nasio muimbaji. Sabu nini? Kodak? You remember Kodak? Which other company? Ever ready? Yeah, battery. You remember Paka Power? Paka ziko na power. Cats that have a lot of power, Paka. You remember what you don't understand is that era was phased out. So it's not that you will not prosper. Please hear me. It's not that you will not prosper if you do it, but you will end up over-investing in order for you to finally make people trust in battery again. People have advanced. To understand where is the cycle, where are we as 2025? You have to release some things, coins. You check what is relevant. Trading. Next. I saw Japan. Is it Tokyo or Japan? Who saw the animal? Is it like the cheetah? They have built an animal that now, a technology that you can hold, like the way you hold a horse, and it can run, and it's a machine. Can you find it, Pastor? Who is there? Who can help me there? Boy, find these things I'm saying. There is is it Tokyo or Japan? Just check. They built. It's yet to be launched. And it's full like a dog or a horse. You hold it. So now instead of flying, because it's a lot of work, you can hold it and it can run. So what is that person telling you? Transport. Next, AI. Hata hatujui ni nini. So will you just think artificial intelligence, the preacher who preach is satanic? No problem. All things work together for? Even Satan belongs to God. Because I've realized something in Africa. When you don't know what to do with it, you demonize it. Because we don't know what to do with AI. So we demonize it. And the people that fight new things is Africa. Africa fights anything they can't understand. These are the things you need to look at. To ignore AI now, you are a joke. People are being treated in hospital using this thing. Machines are operating people. And this is what I'm saying. You must study that cycle. So what I've done, I've studied the cycle. This is not just me coming out. Safe Haven is not a business. Safe Haven is a cycle. We are studying the cycle. Where is the money going? To know, in case you are not aware, Safaricom, 18 years. They celebrated 18 years a few weeks ago, 2-3 weeks ago, right? I was telling Wallap. Did you see what happened to them? They launched ZD. But to some people, they don't even know what that is. They launched ZD. Something they came up with in December last year. They launched it. And ZD, they openly call it a money market, MMF, money market fund. And they tell you, if you have now an opportunity to invest in ZD using your Mpesa, and then you make profit. It's the same thing we are saying. Now, because they have numbers, and we have better offers, which I challenge any company to do it. I challenge it. I challenge them, and I want to see what offer they'll give. This money market fund, SMM, Safaricom Money Market Fund, it's there, it's there. It's not something I'm saying. Between December and April, they had already raised assets worth 2.8, I think 5 billion. Between December and now. But when we tell you people these things, I'm trying to scare. Someone now, as I'm teaching, is affording to sleep. Your mother does not have a house. And you're affording to sleep, and I'm teaching something that people would pay millions to get this information I'm teaching. Sometimes cheap is the worst thing you can give people. Free is the worst thing you can give people. And this is why sometimes you notice people charge so that the wrong people never come. Because if someone pays 10,000, it will be value for their money. You can't pay 10,000 and play with it. But sometimes when something is free, you take it for granted. And this is what I'm trying to tell you. We are studying a safe haven. Where is the money going? The wealth is moving. And right now the wealth here is on these things I'm saying. Coins. Trading. Are you hearing me? Transport. Where you see a lot of robots and AI. Now have you noticed here, it's probably one thing. Here is probably two things. As you keep going, avenues open. So you can see electric cars are slowly beginning to become the talk of the day. Someone actually told me the other day they are bringing me one to check it. And then no need to pay. Levels, usi-mind. Ikikuja na kupea, ubebe mama. Solar is coming to compete with the normal, which actually solar, globally, they are calling it what? Clean energy. So if you are going to be part of this clean energy, believe me, you're in the future. Because carbon emissions, carbon, a lot of, it's the toxicity in the air. So if you're going to go this direction, but there was a time to tell anyone about, what do you call it? Clean energy, solar. It was a waste of your time. Because no one believed it. Washoshoa kwa na mini neza fanya kazi. Now solar is becoming the talk of the day. So that's how you look at it. What is carrying money? Ask your neighbor, what is carrying money in your generation? 2, what's moving wealth? Carrying money means the idea. Wealth means the transportation. What is moving wealth? You have to study it, my people. I'm sorry for taking this time, but I need to explain these things. These things I'm teaching. Have you found what I've said? Kindly. It's all over social media. Like just, it's public. Watch that thing. I was watching it yesterday. I don't know kama ni mimi niko in the future. Why don't you people see some of these things? Lakini mtu akipata mimba, we know. If someone gets pregnant, we know. Look at that machine. Is there a way to put volume? Kawasaki Group, exactly. This is what I was looking for. And it's seven days ago. Now, how do you know it's valuable? Can I tell you? Who can tell me how I know this thing is valuable? Anyone? How do you know that this thing is valuable? Yes? Because you're getting to your... No answer is wrong. And how old are you, little girl? 12 years. So, bro, you're fired. You have found your challenge. 12 years. Just look at a 12-year-old. Look at that machine. Look at it. I was studying it. They were saying the stability. It can't fall. It's so stable. You don't even feel much. Look at that machine. Na uko hapa unataka kutengeneza kitu ya kusukuma punda. I don't know if you are getting it. It might be painful to you, but me, I tell you the way it is. The world doesn't care about your emotions. The world does not care what you think. The world is in the future. I'm saying this to push you to become better. How do you know that this is needed? How do you know it's relevant? Study.
Because we're entering into an era where fuel won't be used anymore most of the time.
Good. Let me help her. Have you heard her statement? Very true. But I'm talking about the video. Now, watch. Sister, can I tell you? Look at the views and look at the number of days. Are you seeing the views? What are the views? What are the views? 950. How many days?
7 days.
That's how you know. It means people are moving towards that direction. People will embrace this thing. Just imagine someone to sit down and draw that thing. Oh, mtu akili yake iko wapi? Na wewe mtoto wako anacheza na matope. Kawasaki's, look at these people's kids, what they are doing. You have to study the future. You have to be in the future. As much as Billy Graham was powerful, Billy Graham was in his day. As much as John G. Lake was powerful, John G. Lake was in his day. For the God of Elijah, why? Why Elijah? Is it not written that many prophets wanted to hear what you are hearing? It means Elijah should be learning how to deal with God fully with you, to study you. Because the capacity you have now, Jesus has died on the cross. Why Elijah? These are the days of... No, why should it be the days of Elijah? Are you telling me there is nothing we have demonstrated today that our past can learn from? Why are we always learning from past? If you want to see a powerful person, we must reach the past. There is no one in our generation that can raise the dead, can heal the sick. We have to go back to past. Now look at what people are building. And then compare it with Africa. How will you compete against that world? When we are joking, if right now I take this teaching, this one, I go to China, I will get a lot of money. Because they understand what I'm saying. They know what I'm saying. Africa, we just joke. Because you are 12 years, you are 14, so you begin to use age. You go check what 12-year-olds are doing outside there. And so they give us too many documents, A plus, A minor. They feed your head so that they finally pay you to serve them. Why go to school for all those years and you have never thought about building something for yourself? Why? You must study this cycle I'm talking about. Forget all those other questions. You must study this cycle. Kama sio hivyo utakuwa na utarudi huko kwenyu Meru. Ukakule nini zinaitwa hata nini? Ukakule huko matawi. After all your parents have gone through, because you don't study. If right now I take these phones and I go to your, what do you call, history, search engine history, what will I find on these phones? Pornography. Nations are building things that are changing systems. Na hapa Kenya ni kushika watu because wanafanya play. Me, some things I really feel it. You talk to Christians about these things, we know nothing about these things. Now there is a new cycle. I don't know how far it is, but I can tell you, 2010, we are 15 years in this cycle. 15 years. How long will it last? I don't know. But I can tell you this thing is 15 years. So you are 15 years behind. Trump made a statement, make America great again. MAGA. Hata nimewapatia slogan. They didn't know. Make America great again. MAGA. That's Trump. How will he do it? You see he himself is coming on news and he's talking about coin. And then you think he's ignorant. He's saying Bitcoin does not belong to them, but he wants to create the biggest reserve of Bitcoin because he can't own it. So they want to buy as much of it. And then they will now take, so it means study American coins. Because he will do anything to push those coins because he has MAGA in his mind. Make America, not make China. He won't power China. He will not power Russia. He's not foolish. I saw him speaking about the automobile, saying that their cars are being driven in China. I mean, Japan's cars are there, but American cars are not being sold there. So he wants to straighten the import of cars. Because what shocked me, can I tell you what shocks me? Japan, 90% of the cars in Japan are made in Japan. 90%, I was so shocked. How will Japan not be a great nation? Huku, something as rich as tea, you find import. Import of tea is more than export. Yet we are the producers of it. It's so foolish. That we are known for horticulture, but you find horticulture in import. Instead of holding import of what we can be able to produce so that we send it away and make more money and build our nation. Africa, mizijui. And then the people you are telling, wanakuangalianga tu hivi kama zombie. And then ukiona mtu akiuma ni wewe anakuambia, hiki mtu unaelewa kile kinasema. Sisi tutauza mayai, sawa? Who's mind? You are going to sell eggs. Forget coins. Sisi tutauza. We are going to start an egg business. Can I tell you something you can do on a small scale in terms of agriculture that can help you? Can I tell you? Huh? You won't believe it. Can I tell you? Can I tell you? Yes. Read this. Can you read that? If you can put 1,000 of them pure in December, you are rich. Let's forget even hii kwa sababu kuna mtu naona ameanza kuzima. There is someone I'm seeing say, Bishop, man, I don't get it. Just help us. Just put natural chicken, kienyeji. I don't know how to call it in English. What's kienyeji, surely? The chickens that are not broilers. Gokoshi agai, like God's chickens. Not broiler, not sijui. Pure kienyeji. And be willing to wait how many months? Feed them. November, come out. All of them. If you put 1,000 or 5,000 and sell them for 1,200, how much is that? 5,000 0 0 times 12. How much is that? 0. Eh? How much is that? 6 million. See, at least that one you it's normal. I say, check if sasa Mori ameanza kuongea lugha yetu. Morio, you have now come back to Kenya. We were seeing you. We were waiting for you to land. Now you have landed. Honestly, my people, I have passion to see people growing. Bear with me. It's my heart's desire. This is the future. Study what? The what? Future. Study the future. And believe me, whether you believe it or not, the world must do what? Move. So it either moves with you or it moves without you. But the world must move. You have to think about the world like the planet. You know the way it moves every day. So do you pray for it to move? You don't need to believe it. The world must rotate. So the same way, wealth rotates. And if you can study, wealth rotates. If you can study the rotation, you will be wealthy. Just study the rotation. You don't even need to be smart. You don't even need to go to school. If you have gone to school, God bless you. Nothing wrong. Go for us. But those of us that had some little challenge, and if you can, hear me, go to school. But not all of us will be able to go to school. Sindio? Because of grades. Study the cycle. Where is the money going? That's how you become rich. May the Lord bless you. Hey. Oh. Shika. Shika. She has said no, she wants me to give him back. Here, take. Take, bro. Why? You have to find a way. School affair. You don't want Kenyan currency. Big man, no new friends. Uskubali? Is this making sense? Yes. Bear with my lot story. May the Lord bless you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Felix has a question, but before Felix asks, I have a question for Mom. Please, could you give us tips on how you could become a wonderful couple? They asked me to
Kunywa maji.
They asked me to get answers from both Mom and Dad. So, yeah, Mom, you can go first.
Wonderful.
Sips water. Huh? Then someone get Felix. Okay, Felix, get yourself a microphone.
Ni film gani? Fellow.
Yes, yes,
Na uko serious na hiyo swali?
yes. So Felix, get yourself a mic. Risky lakini.
Ni risky.
Wonderful. Couple.
Yes, from the perspective of the person asking this question, they want tips on how you become such a wonderful couple. I think from their position, you look very good. Yes, so they want tips on how to really become a wonderful couple.
How do we? Maybe you can.
No, you tell us. Felix saw me, but he decided to ask you.
Is it Felix though?
Ni fellow.
No, that's
It's
not
someone
Felix's
from
question. Felix has a microphone, he'll ask his after you're done.
I think God is helping us. When you talk about wonderful, when you're talking about marriage, I believe it's just each and every person playing their role as what God has called them to be. And I know people have perspective of marriages. So maybe when you look at couple, there's something, of course, it's come from admiration of something. And I believe it's a collective effort and people knowing what is your purpose in marriage as a wife, what is your purpose as a husband, what is your purpose. And then I believe that how the instruction of marriage that came from back in Eden, in the book of Genesis, that is where everything began. And everyone is given a mandate, or rather an assignment, or what is expected of you in marriage. That's where you see that God is so gracious that he did not just leave man and a woman to find themselves or to discover themselves. He gave them a template and all that. So I believe that for anything to work is when you implement God's agenda in what you're pursuing. So if there is that wonderful picture that you have seen, I believe that God is helping us, and mostly it's just trying to become what God has called us to be for each other. I don't want to speak more into this because I am seated next to a teacher. And I don't want that question, me looking like, okay, nilikuwa naongea, but I have to speak for my part. I believe it's more of building into what God called you to do in regards to what he sees marriage as. And it's a journey of becoming. It's not something that you achieve every day, because we all are different in our own ways. We come from different places. We just met as grown-ups, and the goal and objective, understanding the assignment and agenda in marriage, is that's one thing that makes everything beautiful. But when there is no understanding, there is no alignment in it. So it's a journey of becoming what God officially said about how marriage should run like. Or maybe you don't have something to say about wonderful.
Wonderful. Yeah. I don't want you to have, whoever that asked that question, I don't want you to have the wrong picture. Because the front part of everyone is the nice suit. But when they finally turn, the many stabs. And so, wonderful cannot be achieved by wonderful alone. Wonderful is, there are so many things that come together to make wonderful. Do you understand that? So what you don't see, there is what you don't see. There is the back side that you don't see, which is what helps to build the wonderful picture. And I think it's very important that number one is commitment to God, commitment to each other, commitment to even the extended families, my family, her family. Commitment is a very important key. So don't look at wonderful at the beginning. Does that make sense? Yeah, wonderful is something that as you journey, you begin to acquire. Yeah, because when you look at wonderful at the beginning, it's always messy at the beginning. The reason is because 20-something years of her life, she grew in a different culture. I'm not an Ambian. They shout. And I'm not saying they shout in a bad way. It's like they believe, even right now, if my wife wants to speak to her dad, who is in Embu without the phone, she will speak. There is just a way they are blessed. These people are blessed. I told you a story how I went to their village. The auntie literally stays on the other side. There is a hill. You like go down the valley and up. So they didn't have salt. Me, I was in the house. I just said, Mware! And then you hear someone, eh! And then after, I went and I asked. It's like a comedy I watched. A person was explaining about a child. G. And then the mom from the far said, Usimpe! And then finally they ask him, Kwani, what was the child asking? Maji baridi. Only they know what they were communicating. Cold water. But you know the child is saying weird things. Only the mother. These people can understand each other from a distance. I'm different. I'm more of a person that it's proximity. You tell me. If you shout to me, she can tell you. If you shout to me, I shout. I don't know how to hear loud voice. You disrespect me by shouting, is over. I don't know how to. So they are very loud in terms of getting what they want. Then me on the other side, what's introvert?
Not really loud.
You might see me preaching and think it's the case. No. It took a lot for God to bring me in front of people. So me, I've come from a different background where my dad was very quiet. Very quiet. You could literally count the words my father spoke in a day. That's how quiet my dad was. But you see, he was not a preacher, so he couldn't pass for a preacher. Because as a preacher, you must speak. So I was like that. My mom one day told me that I used to, when I was young, I would face the wall for hours. And I'm not doing anything, I'm just facing the wall. I don't want to. That's the way I grew up. So to bring these things together, there has to be commitment of some degree. Do you understand? So don't think that what you are seeing now is at your beginning. You must be willing to journey. We too, we are journeying. Me personally, I'm journeying. Her personally, she's journeying. But it's that commitment level to know that I'm here despite whatever. And we are here to make this thing work to the glory of. Is this making sense?
It is. Thank you so much. Are you guys loving this? Are you learning? So our time is far much spent. I would like us to take the last several questions. And this is how we're going to do it. We are going to take 3 questions. One from Joy Komboka, Felix, then I'll read one. Then Bishop and Mom would respond to both, then we'll call it a day. The rest, we will keep them, and probably we'll have a session like this later in the days. Is that okay? All right, so we start with Fellow. Fellow, are you ready? Okay.
Thank you, sir. Over the years, I've had the privilege to watch your life, sir. And one thing I've not been able to understand is how you manage to balance ministry and your businesses. And the second question is, how do you minimize the risk? Like, for example, you have Safe Haven, and you're giving us a guarantee that we will have 10% after 10% of what we are going to invest, and you are completely sure that we'll get the 10%. What are you doing to ensure that we get that 10% without having any risk? Thank you, sir.
I'm investing. A lot of people really want to know, Bishop, so when we started paying people, that's when people started realizing, wow, like this thing is real. We are in the money market space. And money market is robust. So there is no one specific thing. We are where the money is. Did you understand the cycle I was teaching? So we guarantee it because we are where the money is. And in order for you to know, you know the Bible says, my people perish for lack of. There is a level of knowledge you must have for you to come out. And especially where I'm standing in life. I can't joke. A good name is superior to rubies. So I would not wake up. I've built so much for me to wake up. By the time you see me waking up and telling you, we can get money, believe me, I know what I'm saying. I'm not just speaking for the sake of speaking. So we are into the money market fund. Maybe as time keeps going by, you will understand the money market means many things. We might be buying land and reselling it at a superior value to different institutions. All that is money market. So there is no really one specific thing that we can sit and tell you. Is that making sense? But it's basically the money market space. What we know is that we are able to look at our turnover and say, 10% of this turnover we can share. Probably might be 15%, 13% or whatever. But we are willing to give a larger portion to the people. Is that making sense? Yeah, that's number one. Number two, balancing between business and ministry. My ministry is my business and my business is my ministry. Have you read the scripture, I'm about my father's business? But what was that business? It was his ministry, right? So I consider ministry my business. I'm not talking about it in terms of profit and capital gains, but I'm talking about it in terms of purpose and value and my area of interest. So what I do is that I make sure when I'm needed for ministry, I'm available. And I make sure when I'm needed for business, I'm available. Like I'm able to, now, this might not be your case because again, you have to study where you are in life. Okay? I can do this because me too, I've been employed. I've been employed by a company that paid me $9,000 a month. I've been employed to be a dog feeder where I met her as a dog feeder. 300 shillings. I've been employed where I work for a place for 2 years without pay. I've had different kinds of jobs. I've sold credit cards, I've sold hair, I've sold all those kind of things. So that question cannot be answered individually. That question must be answered practically based on where the person is. Like, for example, if you are employed, you can't say, my time for this will be my time for this, because your time is limited. You can only do that maybe outside your work time. But you see, for a person like me, because I too was there, I'm able to do it different. I can decide, like, I'll be here in church Tuesday, Friday, and Sunday, right? And then I can dedicate Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday to my businesses. So I'm able to balance because of the privilege of where I'm standing, having paid enough time. And that's why you've noticed the balance I've brought. If you are employed, you can't do the same. You can only be employed and then you use your money to build your business. Now, lastly, if you are here and you're employed, don't quit your job. God is not ignorant that you are working. I've seen so many people make these mistakes. And bear with me if you have, but I have to teach. Bear with me. Don't quit your job to say, I'm going to be there in the church. Full-time ministry is a calling. You must be called to full-time ministry. If your ministry is young, stop quitting your job. Use your job to support it. Give your ministry wings. Give your vision wings. And this is a mistake young people make. They quit their job just because they have passion for something. That's not how it works. So you use your job to build your vision until where you get to a point your vision is able to build you. That's when you quit your job. Young people, do you understand? Musikue carried in a passion. Passion is an enemy anywhere to any man that has no vision, or rather that has not discovered vision. Passion is an enemy to any man that has not discovered vision. So this is what I do. And because of the liberty of where I'm standing, having paid my price, I am able to juggle. I'm able to juggle. Is that making sense? Okay.
Thank you so much, fellow, and thank you so much, sir, as well. Joy Komboka, help her with the microphone kindly.
I have a couple of questions.
Kindly make it one, because we don't have much time. Kindly make it just one. The rest will be written down, and we'll have a later session.
Okay, so for me, I have noticed there is a gap in tech platforms, specifically like an application tailored for marketing Christian events. So I've been planning on building an application to address this need. So I wanted your perspective concerning that. Does it have potential, especially in today's digital space? And also maybe just guidance or any form of support I can get from.
Oh, wow. Thank you. Thank you. Sir, before you take it,
Okay.
I would like you to also respond to something which is like really wanting. Someone asked, what is the meaning of true grace? What was the meaning of true grace? Is a departure from sin. I want to understand. Is it departure from sin? I think that's what they intended to ask. Is the meaning of true grace departure from sin?
Okay. Can you Google, help me to get information here? What does it, the events, how much per year are the events company bringing in? Like something of that nature. As I'm answering that, true grace, right?
Yes.
I made a statement today, true? So this is what I mean. There is the false witness of grace, which is being taught in our generation, that tends to purport that God understands. Okay? God understands. And that's why I say that truly, if you have found grace, it is written that the knowledge of God, no one knows the Lord and continues to sin. And so the eventuality of grace is to depart you from sin. I'm trying to make it as simple as possible. Do you think that's simple as possible? So when you really get to grace, not motivational speaking, and by the way, you need to know when a preacher is motivating you, because there is a very thin line between grace and motivation. According to us, but according to God, they are very far apart. But you can be motivated not to walk out because God understands. I will need to submit to you, when Jesus died, the Bible says there is no longer a sacrifice. There is no longer a sacrifice left. There is nothing else God can do to save you. I want you to understand that. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son. So when I say true grace, when you really know you have gotten to the grace of God, it's not the fact that God understands, but it's the fact that you have received the capacity to say no. Is that making sense? And so when you talk about true grace is a departure from sin, I'm saying if really you need to know that you have accessed the grace of God, it empowers you to live a Christ-like life. Is that making sense? Okay.
I would ask if the media team is ready with what Bishop has requested so that he can respond to Joy's question.
Who, Joy?
The lady who has just...
Yeah. Oh, that's the event. That's why I want him to... I want us to use practicals. Good. So, my sister, so that we know whether it's valuable. I actually wanted, administration, marketing coordinator. So you are on the marketing platform, right? You say that you wanted to market Christian events, right?
Mm-hmm, yes.
So let's just look at this. Although this is not what I wanted, Peter, I wanted locally for Kenya, how much do events company bring? Just like you did yesterday for betting. Like if you can Google for Kenya. But let's use this one first. It says marketing coordinator. If you happen to coordinate the marketing, but now how do we know this, Peter? This is compared to what? So program coordinator, non-profit organization, 68 to 1 million. Program manager, no. This is not what I want. I want you to tell me Kenya as a whole.
Okay.
How much does the event companies in Kenya collect annually from Kenya as a whole. Let's see, so that we can answer with statistics, and then if you decide to take a portion of it, you can see what it can really do, right? Instead of me just being religious about it and say, yeah, go for it. No. I don't answer like that. Let's look at it. Sorry for keeping you. Can I use your phone for a minute? Mine is off.
Kindly remind your neighbor, don't let them sleep. There are some guys who are on zombie mode. Especially the reclining gang over there. The funny and terrible faces you guys are making. Just be caring to your neighbor. Tend to your neighbor if they are... There's also a problem here. Let's be careful. Let's be careful with the faces. We have cameras. Let's not scare the online church, kindly.
Okay, so let me answer in case they don't have.
Okay.
Looking at the statistics of the... Okay. There you go. Yeah. So, sister, can you read there? The events planning industry in Kenya is a significant business. The person here is telling you significant. So already you have already passed, because whatever you're thinking of is what? Significant. Let's see how significant it is. With an estimated value of 30 billion in 2023. And I hope you know a very big portion of this money is spent on marketing. And that's where your field is, right? To market events. To market Christian events. See, that's what you said?
Yes.
So, 2023, starting an event planning business in Kenya can be a lucrative venture. Is this your idea?
Yeah.
Offering opportunities across various event types, from weddings and corporate events to smaller gathering. Key aspects of the event planning industry in Kenya: market growth. The industry has experienced substantial growth, demonstrating the potential for profitability. So there is profit, right? Variety of events. Events planners in Kenya cater to a wider range of events, including wedding, corporate conferences, and smaller gatherings. Lucrative opportunities. The diverse event landscape and high demand creates numerous opportunities for event planners. Cost variations. Event planning fee vary based on the event size and location, blah, 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 blah. Examples of event companies in Kenya, then you have them, all those companies are right there. So we are interested on the top part there, which is 30 billion. So if you are able to take the portion that goes to marketing, a portion of money can come to you. Because you said, according to you, you've seen that there is need to market Christian or global.
Yeah, Christian.
Christian events. See, that's what you're saying.
Yeah.
So then you need to find out the current marketing. How is it? And the question you need to ask, what difference are you bringing? Why should I choose you to market for me? We did something very different for Shabak, and all of you, maybe some of you have come across the flyer, Shabak, or the video, because we did something different. The person came here, he displayed the marketing platform, Pastor Godfrey showed me, and then we paid him. And then we've seen him do quite has anyone met the flyer or the video maybe online? He's done quite some. Anyone? Guy? Yeah? You have not seen? Blessed are they that believe and have not seen. But you need to find out. So what difference are you bringing on the table? Why should I choose you? I have a problem personally as John CW, which is to market events. And I think every person that's great has that problem, to market their products, to market their books, to market their ideas. So the platform you're talking about is very lucrative. but you will need to be very different. So yes, it's a good market. You have seen it's a 30 billion shilling, and that's 2023. So I'm assuming an extra 5 billion has gone up, or 3 billion on that platform. So yes, it's a good business.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. We have so many questions, but we will find a way to get them answered. Probably we'll see how tomorrow will look like. There are people asking questions that we can help. Like someone asked how to join the IT boot camp in Bungoma. I think that's Peter. Whoever that is, Peter, you can be upstanding kindly. You can see Peter immediately after this. I think he'll help you. The rest of the questions, we will sort them and we'll find a suitable time to answer them.
Let me emphasize this. Peter, Pastor Godfrey, there are so many people online that are really asking about WallUp. Please don't generalize. Remember, you're not dealing with Kenyans, so you can't just give a Kenyan account like 247. They're not Kenyans, all of them. Give them a WhatsApp number. And right there, for WallUp WhatsApp, kindly call this. Don't call, WhatsApp this number. For Safe Haven, those of you that are abroad and want to reach, give it in terms of 2 plus 254. Don't write 07, because there are people abroad, they don't understand that language. So that those of you that would desire to be part of Safe Haven Safe Haven investment, follow that WhatsApp chain. Then you'll be guided by the relevant authority there. Those of you that would like to be part of WallUp, there is a number 2. And please write it +254 before we finish this live broadcast, so that they can get the numbers. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for taking your time, Mom, as well. Have you guys learned a lot? I was listening to some. Let me snitch on you guys, but forgive me, sir. In those discussions out there, poor saying, this was happening in a queue ya chakula. They were saying, hey, it's afternoon. It's about money. Our heads are going to get clogged again. Is that how intense it is? So I asked them, what do you mean by clogged? They're like, that information is so alien, you have to go sit. After this class, you have to take a nap to get it in. It's not serious, but we are really grateful that these things are happening at the comfort of our church spaces. This is so dear to us. We are really, really honored and grateful. You know, there is nothing we can do to Bishop to really say thank you. There's nothing we can do to the wonderful couple to we can't say thank you, but we have a thing we can do. Is that right? What is that? Wait, before you do the clapping. What is the one thing that we can do? I can't hear you. Can we say it so that they can hear now? Do you promise to do that? Yes. Is it a promise, or you're just happy that the session is up and you're going to take a nap to sip in the information? Are we promising to transform? That's the only thing we can do to really get to his heart. From this time now, I would request us to be upstanding as we share the words of the grace. And now may the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ and the love of God and the fellowship of the Holy Spirit be with us now and forevermore. Amen. Thank you so much. I would request you to be seated as we allow Bishop and Mom to leave. Kindly be seated. Be seated. It's a wonderful thing, ain't it? Let's appreciate them. Let's appreciate Bishop. Kama wewe ni wa Western unaweza weka kigelegele kidogo. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right. Now, back to business. We were requested not to take anything that does not belong to us. Was that made clear? Was that made clear?